What is my personal injury claim worth? Hi, my name is Chris Denmon. I'm an attorney at Denmon and Pearlman in Tampa, Florida. And today we're going to talk about how we value personal injury claims. When we're valuing personal injury claims, we're looking at a couple of different components, and then we're adding them all up to figure out what a dollar amount value will be for your claim. So here's what we're looking at. The first question we have to answer is, what is the money available? Okay. So if you've been in an auto wreck and somebody else caused an accident, but that person doesn't have any insurance for whatever reason, or they don't have a penny to their name, then the value of the case is going to be very limited because there isn't any money to go get. On the flip side, if you've been in an auto wreck and the person who hit you has $1 million insurance coverage, then you know that it's not going to be an issue, okay? Then there's going to be enough money available to compensate you for the full value of your claim. So the second question we ask is, what are the total medical bills in your case? So a personal injury claim, by its very nature, has injuries. And injuries are treated in hospitals or urgent cares or by chiropractors or by orthopedists. And they're all done in a medical setting, and they all have medical bills associated with it. And so these are economic damages, and we want to know what the total economic damages are in your case, the total medical bills. And we also want to know what your total out-of-pocket is. In other words, what has insurance covered, or what has your PIP insurance covered if it's an auto accident claim. We next want to find out what your lost wages are. This is another sort of economic damage, right? It's something that we can put an actual, to the penny, we can figure out what your lost wages are. And so if you had to leave work under doctor's orders and you weren't able to work for a couple of weeks and you make $20 an hour, then we can figure out the exact dollar amount of your lost wage claim. Now, the next question, and this is a big one in an injury case, is what is your pain and suffering? Okay. And this is an intangible amount. It's not like medical bills where we can say your pain and suffering was worth to a penny this particular number. It depends. Okay? And what it depends on is, how has this accident affected your life? And there's two different places that we're looking at. One is, what are the things that you used to be able to do and you can't do now? What has been taken from you? Maybe you used to go to the gym every day, or maybe you used to run every day, and now you can't do that. And so that is a part of pain and suffering that we'll sit down and figure out a value for to do the best we can to compensate you for what's been taken from you. The second part is, what are the things that you still do because you have to do them, but they're really hard to do right now? So, for example, if you got to work and you still have to go and drag yourself into the office every day or whatever it might be, but it hurts now. You have to do it, but it stinks for you now. It's painful. The only way you can get through it is to take a bunch of pain med in the morning, and then when you go home, you pay for it. We call these, the technical term is duties under duress. But we want to know what those are, because that's a big portion of your pain and suffering claim. To determine this, we'll talk to you because you'll know, but we're also talking to your family members, whether it's your spouse, sometimes it's your mother. How has it affected them? Because they can often speak for you better than you can. The last question we want to know is, what is the liability in your case? So is it 100% clear that this injury that you have, that the accident was caused by somebody else? So for example, you have your motor vehicle car wreck where somebody runs a red light and plows into you while you're just parked. In that case, we know that liability is 100% clear, right? It's not your fault at all. Or is it the situation where it's more vague, or maybe there was a side swipe and it's a little bit harder for us to prove the liability at 100% level? And we want to know that because that factors into your claim. And then what we do is, this usually takes a few months for us to gather all this information, because you don't know the first week after an auto wreck, for example, what your total medical bills are. You have to go to the doctor. You have to let them either get you 100% better, or if they can't get you 100% better, we have to get to the point where they say, listen, we've tried everything we can to get you 100% better, and we can't. And this process can take 3 months, 6 months, whatever the case may be. It all depends on your treatment provider. So we have to wait till that's done. When it comes to lost wages, you may not know a week after an auto wreck or a slip and fall how much time you're going to lose. It may take a few months for you to get an understanding of how it's going to affect your work and how much money you're going to be out of pocket. And the same thing with pain and suffering. you may not know right away exactly how it's going to affect your life. You may think at the very beginning that maybe it's just 2 weeks that you're out of the gym, or maybe it's just a couple of weeks that you're not going to be able to go to your kids' sporting events. But as time goes on, you'll have a better understanding if this is going to be a permanent thing, your pain and suffering. Is this going to affect you for the rest of your life? Or is this something that's going to be for a small period of time, but ultimately you're going to get over it? And that varies, and that factors in greatly with what the total amount of your settlement case value is going to be. So after a certain period of time, and a lot of it's dependent on your treatment providers and your doctors, but it's usually somewhere between 3 and 6 months, you come in and we sit down and we go through all of these factors, and we're able to come up with a number as to what the value of your case is going to be. And that's what we'll settle your case for. And if the insurance attorney or the insurance adjuster does not agree with us and they refuse to settle with us, then we file a lawsuit, because ultimately this is your one shot to be compensated for what's happened to you. And if you have permanent injuries, and this is something that you're going to live with for the rest of your life, then you need to make sure that you get fair value for your claim. And at our firm, we believe in getting maximum value for every claim. We take every case on a case-by-case basis. And I'll leave you with this, which is, I have yet to have a client who's been permanently injured that no matter how great the financial settlement is, I've yet to have a client tell me, you know what, I would rather have this money in hand. I'd rather have this money than go back to where I was before. The reality is, it's an imperfect world, it's an imperfect system, and the best we can do is to put a dollar amount on something that's been taken from you.